Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Izzy Bisges. I have compiled all the questions that you guys have asked me onto a Google Doc. I'm looking at it right now. 50 questions in total. As the type A person I am, I have organized them into different genres or different topics to discuss about this move to London, and I'm going to answer all of them. First of all, to my subscribers, my 2,000 of you, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for choosing my channel to subscribe to. It just means such a big deal to me, and I just cannot explain how much that means to me. So thank you for following along. Thank you for caring about my life enough to follow along. And I'm so happy to have each and every one of you on this channel. I love this community that we are making and building and that we have. I can't wait to continue sharing my life, my experiences, my advice, whatever it is. I love talking to y'all. I love recording my life. And thank you for giving me an amazing platform, an amazing community to share it with. So again, thank you for 2,000 subscribers. If you're new here, I have all my videos on demand, so you can always go back and watch when I studied abroad in London, to going home to Georgia for the States in the summer, and then moving back to London for a master program, which we did not plan until we went and did that study abroad in London. So anyways, I posted and asked y'all to ask questions on the community tab under YouTube, and then I also went ahead and shared it on my Instagram, and I got a lot more responses on the Instagram. So let's get started. I'm so excited. Q&A for my London move. Now that I am in London, actually living physically here, the first topic of questions are my personal questions. So we're gonna start off with that because it has the most questions out of all of them. Quick little rundown of who I am. I'm 23 years old. I did my undergrad at UGA, University of Georgia, and I moved countries to come pursue this specific master program I found. It is through Condé Nast College of Fashion, the Entrepreneurship in Fashion and Creative Industries Master. So that is just a little bit of a backstory of who I am if you are new here. First question, are you nervous after making this huge move? I'm looking at my calendar right now. It's almost gonna be a month since I moved back to London and moved into my flat. My mom flew with me. She stayed here, I think, a week long and helped me move in, all of that beautiful stuff. The first, like 3 days to a week, I was sort of miserable. It was not fun. If I could explain the feelings, so imagine having this solid foundation of your life, your friends, your routine, the restaurant you always go to in your town, just having this stable routine of knowing of what's gonna happen, who you're associated with, all this stuff. Imagine that foundation being cracked and then ripped open, and then you having to completely rebuild that whole entire foundation of your life to have some kind of solid ground to stand on for your life. So that's what moving was to me, and I know that sounds probably very daunting and scary, but I have done a move like that before, and I have to say I had to give that move credit, because without that move I don't think I would have been able to do this kind of move. I moved from California, where I was born and raised, when I was 14. Before high school started, I started high school in Georgia. So we moved, very fast move. My family decided on a whim that we wanted to move back towards family, and we never really grew up around family, only Christmases and all that stuff, so we moved back to Georgia. And so I was ripped away from my hometown friends, the friends I grew up with since I was born. That was one of the hardest years of my life, and so having that experience, I feel like, helps a lot with this experience of moving from Georgia, from the States, to London. So yes, I am nervous. I am freaking terrified most of the time, but I'm not allowing that to stop me from experiencing these things, wanting to do these things, wanting to feel those passions of, hey, I want to move to London. I want to do this program. I love London. Even though it's scary, it's new, it's not my hometown, it's not anything I grew up near. There's no familiarness. So yes, I was very nervous moving here, but I made the jump. I jumped, I did it. And I am having so much fun recently, and I've been feeling at home in my core. I feel like anybody, like any celebrity, anybody that you look towards, or like anybody who's successful, anyone who's, you know, built that awesome business, whatever the subject is, I feel like they're always nervous. I feel like no one's not nervous. It's not that they're different and they're built a little bit different. Everyone gets nervous, I think, and everyone's terrified and not knowing if this is the right move and not knowing what's gonna come of this. I think everyone can agree that you have those feelings. They're not gone. It's just, what are you gonna do with those feelings, or how are you gonna let those feelings control you? Next question. This is a long one, so bear with me as I read it. Moving is something I desperately want to do. However, every time I think about relocating to the other side of the world, I feel a sense of guilt because I am so close with my parents and grandparents. Do you feel any guilt for leaving your home and your family behind? I don't struggle too much with this, I have to be honest, because, and I want to give a shout out, and I owe it to my family, they are so supportive of me, and they know. We are so close, okay, I have to say. It was hard leaving my Grammy. As you guys saw in one of my vlogs, I said bye to her, and you know, I went out, took her to get her Dairy Queen Blizzard, and had a last final day with her and had to say bye to her before moving here. It's a little bit hard saying bye to her and your grandparents because no one's guaranteed the next day, right? But they are a little bit more prone to, you know, not be guaranteed the next day because they are a little bit older, a little bit wiser. And so saying bye to her, that was, I think that was one of the hardest goodbyes I had to say. But she knows how strongly I feel about London and how happy I am, and she supports me full-heartedly. And she's like, Izzy, don't you dare look back and regret it. I love you. We have this amazing thing called FaceTime. She loves it because she didn't have it back in her day. So she's like, we have this FaceTime, we can FaceTime and talk. In my day, you know, you had to send a letter and be pen pals. So, and my parents are very supportive too. I mean, so supportive. I wouldn't be where I am today without them. So I am homesick. I miss my family, I miss my friends, I miss my sisters, but they are very happy for me. And that supportiveness helps my move, because I know that they're not guilt tripping me and they're not making me feel guilty for wanting this. I think it came down to my support system of a family. I don't struggle too much with homesickness because I actually feel at home here in London, which is so strange. I don't know how to describe the feeling, but that's how I would explain it. If you don't, what are your tips to not feel that way? If I had to sit here and think about someone, let's just say someone doesn't have that support system, that family support system, I say to not feel that guilt, trust your gut, trust your intuition. It's hard when the closest people around you, when they don't support something like that, and they tell you you're messing up your life, this move, you're not gonna succeed, or things like, why do you want to go to London? You know, like, why do you want to do that kind of move? Sort of guilt tripping you and making you feel bad about wanting what you want. I have to say, trust your intuition, trust your gut, and trust that the universe has you. There's a reason that that feeling of you wanting to move somewhere is there. And I want you to validate it and realize that it's not just there to be a nuisance. It's not just there to be there. It is there for a reason, and there's something telling you, hey, let's move here because I want to show you something great, or I want to show you something greater of your life. So I just would say, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and believe in yourself. So that would be my 2 cents. Is homesickness a real thing? Homesickness is a real thing, totally is. It's that nostalgia feeling. So when you're ripped from your foundation, like we explained before, there is a sense of you want that normalcy again. You want that familiarness back. So home reminds you, it makes you comfortable, and gives you a comfortable, soft, cushioned foundation that you've always had. That's how I would explain it. So you look back and you're like, man, I miss this that I had. I miss my family. I miss my cats. I'm really homesick about missing my cats. My 2 cats, Ruth and Phoebe. Love them. I get so many FaceTimes and so many pictures. So that is very lovely. We love the iPhone digital era because I really don't know what I would do without having that and doing this move. Curl in your bed, snuggle in, get yourself nice and warm and comfortable, and turn on your nightlight. I would say that works really well for me. Making yourself feel like a kid again, I think, in any way, whether that's reading one of your old favorite books, reading about that book that you and your mom used to read together, writing in a journal that you and your dad used to do, you know, those things, do them. Don't forget who you are when you move to, see, that's another thing. Even though we're building on who we are and we are creating a better version of ourselves, don't forget about where your roots come from. That's how I would say, don't forget that you have those amazing experiences, you have those amazing memories, and cling on to them. I'd say, like, I don't think it's bad to cling on to amazing memories that you have with family and friends. So that would be my tips, and yes, homesickness is a real thing. As someone who's soon going to take their own journey on their own to London, congratulations, that's amazing. In general, how do you keep up with balancing mental health and a busy schedule? This is a really great question. For my mental health, my priorities are my physical health, because that also leads to making my mental health great. So that's one of the things I actually talked about with my therapist, was the biggest crack in the foundation when I first moved here. I think the hardest thing was finding a home gym or a home studio to work out in, like workout classes, somewhere that I can go to release in a way, because that is a big deal when it comes to personally myself and my mental health. That's how I balance it. I prioritize myself in many ways. So I prioritize going out. I go work out by myself. I journal a lot. I'm really good with my emotions. I know when I'm going through something, and I give myself grace. And I'm really empathetic towards myself, and I'm like, okay, you know what, Izzy, you're not feeling it today. Let's just hang out at the flat. Let's read our book. Let's put our phone down. Let's not look at it. Let's set self-timers on the phone. All those little things you can do to help your mental health, I think. Busy schedule, from that question. Currently, I don't think I have too much advice to give on that. I can give advice from when I did have a busy schedule in my past, but my busy schedule here has not started yet because my program starts on the 26th of September and it's the 14th. So I have a little bit of time before that, and so that's really great to have this time to get everything figured out before that. Along with that question, they said, you do so much and it seems difficult to go through those changes. So how are some ways you find the best fit to relax and keep you calm? Understand your emotions are valid and take time for yourself. That is not selfish. Taking time for yourself is not selfish. That is one of the biggest mottos I've learned and I've stuck to, and it has proven correct and right. And I feel like my family, my friends, they respect me even more because of that respect I have for myself and the feelings and the empathy I have for myself. So take that into consideration. Take care of your mental health. I think that is the top thing to take care of, mental, physical health, and seek help if you need it. Seeking help does not mean there's something wrong with you. I have a therapist and we talk now like around twice a month, and it has helped a lot just to have a person to talk to discuss with, especially these big moves and big changes. So it's amazing to have someone that's a little bit unbiased in your life that you can talk to. Is the experience just as exciting for your master's as your undergrad study abroad before? Or is this more of an intense study with more pressure? The difference between the study abroad is the study abroad, it was elective classes, and I did it pretty much to just be in London. I actually ended up dropping one of my classes from the semester before, so I pushed back my graduation date just so I can do the study abroad in London. So glad I did, because I fell in love with London and now I'm here. I didn't know this place could be home for me, and it is, so I love it. But this master is an incubator to starting your own business in the fashion industry. So that's gonna be the difference. It's gonna be more real life and more practical, more job related and career focused. So that's the difference between the two. Did you come back early specifically to give yourself longer to settle in before the master's gets underway? Yes, I did, and I recommend to anybody who is also doing a journey like this and doing a master's in a new place. Giving myself this month has been scary and intimidating because I have been alone for most of it, but it has been very amazing and it has helped me grow already a lot and get situated. I still have, a few weeks until my program starts, but I have really enjoyed having this month. Did you get your love for traveling and crafting your own lifestyle from your parents who seem to support / encourage you on every step? I think I did get my love for traveling in a way from them because we did travel a lot growing up, and so I was shown the world as I was growing up, and I think that puts a little bit of curiosity in your soul, especially as you get older. Crafting my own lifestyle, yes, that is a lot of inspiration from my father. He has this whole journey of him crafting his own lifestyle from his family and all that kind of stuff, and so he's a big inspiration for that, of trying to find ways to succeed as an individual self and trying to find success within yourself, whether that be whatever you want to identify success as. But he is a very good example and a very good mentor of that. How long are you going to live in London for? So my master program is 1 year, and then I get a 2-year work visa, so we will see how long. What are you most looking forward to? I'm most looking forward to being in this city. I love the city. I'm also most looking forward to being super pushed in my career, and I'm looking forward to the tipping point. I am really nervous about the next steps of not having school and what to do when you don't have school, but I'm also really excited for this new season of my life because I just feel like it really does keep getting better. I feel like the older you get, the better life gets. You know, you just have so much experience under your belt, and I'm 23 years old, and I'm just excited to learn, to meet new people, network, create a business. I'm really excited for that. This is so funny. I was not gonna answer this, and I was not gonna put attention to this because I normally don't talk too personal on my life, but I think this is hilarious, and this is a early 2000s throwback, but it's so funny. I don't understand how you're single, ? Are you religious like the Jonas brothers? And I just remember watching Disney and then the Jonas brothers coming out with that statement of how they're all virgins and very innocent, and I just remember that being in their documentary of them talking about that whole thing, and so I was just cracking up. Yes, I am single, but for all my single girlies out there, let me tell you a little bit of knowledge of what I've learned. I'm 23 years old. I do not have a boyfriend, okay? But I am so happy with being with myself right now and having this independence and growing with who I am and figuring out who I am. I don't feel the need to have a boyfriend right now because I feel like I want to be the best version of myself before I start dating someone else. I date because I see a connection. I think that you are a great man, and I think that you can just put a cherry on top of my life. I don't want to date to fill a void, if that makes sense. Because once you date to be happier, or you're trying to find a boyfriend because that will make you happier, you're trying to find a boyfriend because that will complete your life, that is not the right mindset to have, I believe. You need to be somewhat okay by yourself and have so much self-love and appreciation for yourself and build on that before you can share your life with someone, if that makes sense. And I don't think you have to be perfect in this whole person and be exactly who you need to be in a relationship. But moving to London, I'm single, so I was able to sort of do this without having a conversation with a partner and talking about it. Or, me, how I'd just tell him like, hey, I'm moving. There's nothing you can really do about it because that's what I want to do. But then I want someone who's going to be okay with it. I want someone who's very supportive of that, and I haven't found that yet. So sometimes I joke around and my friends are like, you have such high expectations and, no one impresses you. But I'm okay with that right now. I'm so young, and I'm waiting for a guy who's going to surprise me, keep me on my toes, and want me back. you can be infatuated by a couple guys, okay? But it's also the rarity of them liking you a lot back and not being an unrequited love. So I think that's why I'm single, because I haven't found that perfect connection yet, or that equal connection yet. I'm a true romantic on that way, but I just don't like dating just to date. I've never been on a dating app. I don't go out really to look for it because I don't need to right now. I'm totally perfectly fine by myself. And I know that's maybe weird to say, or some people are gonna be like, that's strange. But I'm perfectly happy and perfectly fine right now. I wanna fill that void with myself and make sure I'm okay before I jump into a relationship, because I don't want him to be a crutch. Hopefully Mr. Right will come across someday, or, you know, not even Mr. Right, but just like a relationship. We'll see. Anyways, what is something you don't like about London and why? The grocery stores, that's the only thing. I just really want a Publix or a Kroger here. Status on the water heater. We're all good. We got the new part in, the maintenance people came and fixed it. I have hot water. I really like this question. How are you familiarizing yourself with London? I'm moving there and I feel like it's a massive city. I have to give credit to my architecture class that I took in my study abroad in my undergrad a few months ago when I was here in London. That class was amazing. We would meet up in a different area of London every week, and it was a 2-hour class and we would just walk around that area. I think that is the best way to learn London, but I also think the best way to learn London is to not take the tube for public transport. Give yourself a little bit more time because it takes a little bit longer to get to and fro because of traffic, but the bus is one of the best ways to look at London, see London, and discover new little cute places. I go out on walks every day and I go and try to explore a new neighborhood. Is it your ambition to either work in fashion or have your own fashion business? Both. Absolutely both. I want it all. I want to learn from others. I want to work underneath someone who inspires me and I think is a great role model. Little check. You don't know it all until you experience and you network and you meet people. I think you're kidding yourself if you say, I just want to start my own business right after. I don't want to get a job. I don't want to work in the industry, because I feel like there's a lot of knowledge and growth points to learn from working underneath someone and from working in the fashion industry, which is exactly what I want to go into. But you know, with any other industry, I feel like you're not doing yourself justice if you don't get a job and try it out. Some people have different paths, and that's totally okay. Some people really do just start their business right after and they don't ever work, you know, but I feel like some good advice is to get a job. Figure it out, work underneath people, figure out the process, network, and you'll learn something new. But yes, I do want to have my own business in the fashion industry. I haven't shared too much on that, and I don't think I'm going to, not until I'm ready to. So, are you going to set up your own business while you're in the UK studying? So that's the same question, but yes, that is what my master program is starting to create that business plan. The next topic that we are going to discuss is my flat, my living situation, because I got a lot of questions over it. So let's go. Where is your roommate? We have a few more days until she gets into town. How did you go about choosing your flat? Honestly, it sounds like a cop-out because I didn't have to go through the process of finding a flat. I did a little bit. I was searching online. It was so hard. Finding the right area, location, finding the amenities, finding a studio that was in my budget that wasn't so gross and tiny. But I met my roommate. We are in the same college doing different master programs. She had a room open up at her flat. She was like, hey, come see it because you seem really cool. I really like you. I think we'll get along, and come look at the room. I want you to move in with me. And before you know it, I said yes, and everything got situated, and I'm here. I'm here in the lovely flat. How did you choose what area of London you wanted to live in? My number one priority was to be close to my school. I sort of didn't choose it, it chose me in a way. Was your flat furnished or did you have to get all the furniture? It was furnished. So this whole flat, it was pretty much Valeria's whole house and her old roommate. It's all furnished. It came furnished. So that was really nice, and I highly, highly recommend finding a furnished flat, because furnishing a flat in London, I could not imagine. For instance, getting a dining table to your flat. Like, you having to pick it up or get it delivered, which is super expensive, but having to carry it around London. It was hard enough to carry my mattress topper around London, which is this huge, big, bulky thing, but I just cannot imagine furnishing a flat in London. If you are a student, master's student, or you're moving to London, I would definitely recommend looking for a flat that's furnished. They're sort of hard to find, but I would recommend. Did you already know your flatmate before you came back over? Valeria and I, we met up for coffee because we realized we're both in London at the same time, when a lot of people are not in London for the program they applied for, because a lot of students were international. So we're like, hey, let's meet up for coffee before I go home for the summer back to the States, to Georgia. And so we met up, we hit it off really well, and I feel like I've known this girl for years, and I seriously have only hung out with her a couple times. We met so close to the ending of my program, so we didn't have that much time to hang out, but she's amazing, she's a sweetheart, and I'm really excited for her to be here. We only have a few more days, and then you guys can meet her, and she's awesome. The next topic that we are going to discuss is the adulting details, is what I called it. The little details behind the scenes that no one really wants to talk about. Could you explain the renting process in case of not having a bank account and not knowing someone who might be a guarantor? So I understand this question. If you would have asked me this before I started flat searching when I was in London, I would have no idea what you meant. But I got a few calls with some real estate agents, and they explained this whole process to me, because I was asking so many questions. I was like, I don't understand. Can you help me explain? I'm an international student, you know, I'm not born and raised in the UK. So the guarantor is someone who lives in the UK that can sign for you. So say if you can't make your payments or something happens, that they're gonna take over the responsibility of your rent, pretty much. So you have to either get a guarantor, or you can pay, I think it depends on lease to lease too. I was told it was 6 months up front, and you don't have to get a guarantor. Next question, how are you finding all the boring but necessary life admin that comes with moving, such as registering with a GP, banking, utility bills, etc.? The life admin, it was pretty tricky. I did a lot of that through my student visa. I'm still waiting for my BRP, my biometric permit, to be mailed so I can pick it up. It's pretty much my green card to live here. I haven't had to open up a bank yet. Luckily, I will probably, and Valeria is probably gonna help me with that. I'm gonna ask her too. The utility bills are super easy. For the gas, pretty much, you just take the gas card, you go to the post office and you put some money on it, and then you put it back, insert it back in. That's how you get hot water, all that kind of stuff. It is a little bit different than the US, I would say. And any UK specific things you found confusing? I would say returning packages here it's sort of hard. Like for Amazon, for instance, you can't just bring the item and they package it for you. You have to package it and then bring it, which is a little bit different, because the US, you don't have to do that. Did you change to a UK number? No, I did not. I still have my US number, but I'm going to do more research into it, because I don't know if it's reasonable for me to keep this and stay on my international plan that I have. So I'll do more research on that. Do you have a job in the UK? No, I don't. With my student visa, I cannot get a job. Can you travel outside of Europe with a student visa? Yes, you can. The topic is hobbies. How do you make friends in London? Isn't that just the million-dollar question? First of all, I've been lucky because I have found people through my master program, and I've also found people through my YouTube and my Instagram. It has all been online people that I have been meeting in a way. In Greece, I made some friends. They're a newlywed couple, they're amazing, and then they knew some people in London, and so they connected me with them. But I feel like once you start going out and about, you start meeting people. It's just gonna naturally happen, and I know that's probably not an answer you wanna hear, because you want a step-to-step guide of how to make friends in London. Sadly, I don't think there is ever gonna be a step-to-step guide of how to create great, lasting friendships. Favorite pubs? Goodness, I don't think I have a favorite pub. I love the pubs around my area. I love popping into them. There are so many pubs. So if you have never been to London and this is a question of like, hey, I need recommendations, I recommend to literally just popping into any pub that you see that's cute. Just walk in, order a beer, and sit down. and then bring your book if you're alone, bring a journal if you're alone. It's amazing. I love the pub culture. It's so old-fashioned and so cute. So I don't have a favorite pub. There's so many. I don't even remember half the names of the pubs I've been into. What is a non-negotiable part of your day? Something that you always do in London. Pret. Pret is my go-to every day. I must get a coffee or a tea or a smoothie from Pret in the morning. I'm a Pret gal. I have the subscription, so I pay, I think it's $30 a month, and which is amazing because you get 5 free drinks a day. You save so much money, especially if you get it every single day for a month. That's a lot of money if you pay separately. I love this question. Thank you for whoever asked this. What are 4 prime things you have to do to complete your morning routine, provided that you're up early? Izzy Bisges is pretty much typically always up early, every single morning. I mean, I woke up at 7 a.m. to do this, to record this. I'm such a morning person. I love mornings. They are the foundation of your days. And you know me, I'm huge on building a strong foundation because that solidifies your confidence, your self-independence, everything that you are. So, my morning foundation. First of all, coffee. I get coffee, okay? It's a must, it's a need. I haven't had it this morning, which I'm actually meeting a new friend at 10, but we're going to have coffee. So that is why I didn't get coffee and go to Pret originally. Checking my texts with my friends and family. I think that is definitely part of my morning routine. I want to make sure that I'm up to date, especially with the time difference. I get a lot of texts when I'm asleep. My next one is I journal. I sit down, I write just minimum a page, maybe 10 minutes. My 4th thing that I do is I make my bed. I always make my bed. That is one of my favorite pieces of advice to give my friends who feel like their life is falling apart and they don't have a good morning routine. I'm like, just make your bed. I promise you it makes you feel better. You get to come home to a bed made no matter how your day ends. You get to come home and your bed is made. How wonderful is that? Those are my 4 things to a good morning routine. Next question. Have you met new friends to share your vlogs with? Yes, I have. You have met Sophie already. She was in my last vlog, so go ahead and check that out if you haven't. What's your idea of a perfect evening for someone who's just settled down in London? We're gonna do one staying home and one going out, okay? Because they're 2 different vibes. And it depends on how your day was, how you're feeling about your move. So staying in, go to the grocery store, get some dinner, cook a nice lovely meal, and then sit down, watch your favorite TV show, read your favorite book, do whatever you want at home, light a nice little candle, nice relaxing and very homey and comfortable. A night out, I want you to first of all be safe because it is nighttime. Go to the Westminster tube station, get off, and then just enjoy the view that you're about to see. Right when you get out of the tube station, Big Ben is right there. And then if you keep walking down towards the bridge, the London Eye is nice and beautiful and lit up. So go get some hot cocoa, coffee, whatever it is, and take yourself there to see the sight. It is beautiful. So amazing. I've had a couple nights there where I've literally just had the best night by myself of just thinking about life and finding inspiration in just that moment of like, I made it here. I'm seeing this. London Eye is right there. It's beautiful, all lit up. The Elizabeth Tower is right there. Westminster Abbey is right next to it too. It's not lit up, but that's a really beautiful night. How has everyday life been for you since your move to London? It's all been super different. I don't have a for sure routine yet. I know I'm going to get into one once my master program starts. Each day has been different. It's been lovely and great. We are at our final topic. Usually this is one of the most popular topics because people love. When I say people, I mean myself too, because I used to look up all this stuff on YouTube before I even moved to London. When I was living in the States, I was so infatuated by London and British people. It was so foreign to me and my friends. It's so crazy to look back because I was completely clueless. I had no idea the differences. Well, clearly, because I never experienced it and never lived there or traveled there. So I didn't know anything about London, British people, the UK, Europe, any of that stuff. I had no idea. The topic is UK versus USA. What things about the States do you miss or wish the UK had? I wish the UK had more of my favorite candy and my foods. I love these little apple crisps that I get. They're so good. They're called Bear Apple Crisp. I don't know if you know it in the States, but they don't have them here. There's just so many little things about food. food that I wish the UK had. I wish the UK had air conditioning. I wish the UK had Starbucks. And yes, UK has Starbucks. Hear me out. The US Starbucks is so different and so much better. I hate to say it, but I had to give it to you. The UK has better McDonald's compared to the States. I miss my Chick-fil-A. I love my gas station candies and ices that I get. I know that's a lot of junk food and not good food for you, but it's amazing. I love it. And I also miss driving a car. Full windows down, hair everywhere, screaming at the top of the lungs, blasting your favorite song. It's so therapeutic and so amazing. I can't do that here unless I want to rent a car, and I don't think I want to because driving on the other side of the road, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I don't think so. So we're not going to test that theory. And conversely, what things do we have that you wish the States had? I wish the States had digestives, but I kind of don't, because then I'd buy it all the time and eat all of them, and they're, you know, cookies. I wish Georgia, my little hometown, had more pubs, like fun pubs, because there's maybe 2 good bars in town, and they're not even bars that you would even want to walk into. Museums, culture. You can find museums in cities, but they're not extravagant, and they're not free, and they're not beautiful like they are here. We don't have that much history and all that stuff because our, you know, the US is pretty new compared to London. Since you're already in the UK and have studied abroad there before, what would you say was the most useful clothing items? I think a good sweater, like this. This is a great sweater. It's super warm. This is a staple, especially if you're coming not during the summer. I wore thermals underneath everything, and people would make fun of me, but I was like, hey, I'm freezing. I'm really cold. So I would definitely pack a couple pairs of thermals and a good trench coat. I would recommend going to Goodwill before and trying to find some jackets for a little bit on the cheaper dime. Don't pack that much. I promise you'll be able to find anything that you forgot here. How do you deal with the time difference? The time difference actually is not that bad. All of my friends and family in Georgia are 5 hours behind me. All my friends and family in California are 8 hours behind me. But when first moving here, it is hard to adjust for me. I'm always such a hard adjuster when it comes to time because sleep is huge for me. I do prioritize my sleep because I think it makes you a different person, and I'm a morning person, so I love going to bed in a reasonable time, getting that sleep that's really healthy for you and good for you, and then waking up in the morning and doing something, being productive during your day. This is the last question, and I wanted to end on this note because it's always a to be continued, and I'm very excited for the next chapter. So what is next for Izzy Bisges? First of all, I can't wait for fall here, and I can't wait for winter. Apparently Christmas time is unreal in London, so I can't wait to share that with you, show y'all what it's like. I can't wait to continue to grow. I can't wait to become a better person, a more well-rounded person, learn more from others. I'm so excited to meet new people, to network, to create a little community here in London. I'm just so overwhelmingly grateful and so happy that I've had the opportunity to do this. I'm so excited for this next chapter. I love having this platform to talk to. I love talking to y'all. Buckle up. I mean, life is life. Who knows what's gonna be thrown at us? But I have some pretty exciting things I'm working on, actually. And I'm very excited to share it with y'all at some point soon, maybe. We'll see. Thank you again for following along. I am so happy to answer all these questions. I love you all. Stay tuned for the next vlog. My name is Izzy Bisges, and I will catch y'all soon.